This is your daily market recap for Tuesday, July 12th, 2022. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at EXPI Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market recap for Tuesday, July 12th, 2022. Hopefully you had a good day, better than mine. Again, the problem with trading and some of the things that come and go with trading is what? The probabilities. You will not always win. Today we're going to talk about why certain things didn't play out, how to overcome it mentally, and just kind of be a breath of fresh air, because I think sometimes it's easy to get caught in your own head. And if you had bigger losses than you wanted today, or you didn't execute, you're not alone. I mean, I always tell people my goal is to trade well. Did I trade well? I think it could have been better. We'll talk about it today. But again, this is one of those channels where my guidance is to help you get over that edge, those mistakes, those little things that you just do really poorly, because I've done them too. We've all done it. You know, that's the market. Everybody gets bamboozled and tricked. If you think you're immune to it, then you don't realize that even the best institutions in the world traded at 60% day trading probability win percentage. Their swing trades are usually in the 80%. So if you know that people who are spending hundreds of millions of dollars on information and to have edges in the market, and they're doing that, what might be perceived as average or mediocre, what do you think the average person is doing? What do you think we're trying to beat? So anyway, people who've been around know that we do pretty damn well. And again, just is what it is. Let's get into it. Hopefully, again, if you're new to the channel, stop by the Discord room. A lot of chatting today. Some arguments, some disagreements. Again, on days where the markets don't do what we think, you tend to see a lot. You tend to learn a lot about a person, because, again, when I'm down, I'm not going to kick you. Now, again, if you make a really dumb mistake and do something really stupid that we've warned you 100 times, probably won't work, and you do it, a little bit of tough love. But in general, overall, if someone is losing because the market is not doing what they think because of ABC, which based on probabilities might be the 10 or 15% of wrong, please don't kick people while they're down. Again, you can kick me, DM me, whatever, but talking junk to people in the room or just in general, it's just not kind. It's not good energy. Again, no one's perfect. If you think you are perfect, I'd love to see your Discord room and all your other trades. Actually, I don't even want to see your trades. I just want to know that you can trade for a living. Can you? Probably not. Most people can't. Most people fail. Remember that. Know the statistics. 90% of traders fail in 1 to 3 years. Let's not be that statistic. Bitcoin, we said you got to hold this area. We talked about it could be an M pattern to go lower. Now what? Hey, just have a stop, guys. Like, set your stops. Now, what happens if you get stopped out at 18,000, for example, and it goes lower? It's like me with the SPY today. You know, I had some short-dated calls, 382 calls, and it just melted against me, and I just had to go. I got in some other stuff and tried to trade it. Ultimately went 0 for 3 on SPY calls today, trade-wise. So I was struck out. I gave up. But think about it, if you're not day trading, how that mentality still relates to swing trading. If you were wrong, your goal is to be gone as soon as possible, knowing that you can always get back in. That seems very logical, very easy, but trading is not easy. It's emotional. Like, you want to be right. You bought Bitcoin, I buy Bitcoin, whatever this trade is, we buy it anticipating to be right. To acknowledge that you're not right is one of the hardest things to ever do. So be safe. I hope it goes higher. I really do. I really don't know what else to say other than I hope it holds, because it'll help the markets and some of the trades we got going. Wow. Oil. Hello. We said you're probably going to bounce and then at some point fail. Did not expect a drop down to 94, 95 or whatever it is today. $95 a barrel. Again, but let's roll things into the thesis bigger, because again, I'm anticipating oil to be choppy, sloppy, but end up going lower in time. How does that help the thesis of a bull? And again, let's talk about the CPI, because we got into a big, I don't know why it seems so unobvious to people, but if oil's dropping, whatever, 8-9% today, and the CPI data is looking backwards, it's looking at June, is today's action bullish? Should it be bullish? That's what I anticipated. Now, again, the probabilities say it should, because think about it. If the market's really good at trapping people, people are getting bearish about the CPI number, yet literally as we speak, the CPI is melting month over month. Now, year over year might be a different thing, but month over month, because oil, say, in June, averaged what? Let's go and pull back that up real quick. The average in June for oil was what? Somewhere in the 105 to 110 range. And honestly, you could, if you average this out, I would say somewhere in the 115 range. Well, now it's at 95. What? $20, 20% off oil. Now, again, we know gasoline prices won't drop that fast, but think about how that's going to price into the CPI going forward, not looking backwards. I hate when people argue about backward-looking data, but the data is changing as we speak. Oil is the biggest catalyst for inflation. We know that. We've talked about that a billion times. If you don't know that, then I don't know what to tell you. So looking forward, that's why we thought, again, TLT is going higher. Yields are going lower. There's some crazy anomalies in the market, and this is why I think people ultimately who are trying to argue about gamma, option pricing, fixing the market, but whatever. I get it. I've tried to find that advantage by, again, when I started trading, options information was pretty legit because no one was looking at it. Now it's all it's another tool that's promoted by the brokerage to take your money. That's how I look at it. Now, again, some people say they've made a lot of money. I don't know a single one of those people who have sustained long-term wins. Now, again, as a tool that wins, sometimes it doesn't. I don't need more of those. I need less tools. I want less tools. I want simple shit. Now, again, that's me. Maybe you like too much analysis, which creates paralysis. I don't do that. I've cut all the stuff out of my life. It's like eating clean, like, oh, I really like eating this, but does it really help me out or make me better? No, I try to, change my diet. Same thing. Less is more, drinking, whatever you want to call it. I mean, again, like a little grass every once in a while because it's natural. But TLT, this is what hard is like, we're anticipating lower yields, right? TLT rising, deflation. The action today, it's we had a crappy bond auction at 2. I think that set the market off just a little bit. Point being, we're over the 50-day. Don't you think if the CPI numbers and inflation were rearing their heads off, the TLT would be bam! It'd be heading down to the floor. It'd be at 108 with a trajectory for lower prices. Nobody's talking about that. I am. Why? Because the TLT, the bond market, is smart. It is projecting what? Potential deflation in the future. Now, again, I'm not saying oil has to go to 0 or oil is going to 65 next week, but it's a progression. I think if there is a recession, yields will ultimately go lower. It'll get choppy and sloppy. Let's look at references. 2008. Here you go. You had a big spike in yields. Like big, that was like the last leg. Keep that in mind. But look what you had. You had kind of a choppiness because people were buying bonds in a bear market. That's what they're doing. Now, again, that's why I keep saying probably 120, maybe 125 max. This is a smaller range than this action. Keep in mind, if you could have the VIX of the TLT or the bond market, we would all argue that, holy shit, the VIX of the bond market now is way bigger. Maybe there is a product. I haven't been paying attention. Probably is. There's a VIX for everything, literally. So now what? Lower yields, oil's coming down. Everybody's bearish. Look at this stuff. I'm going to share some pictures from the Discord room. And here are some of the stuff that's being pulled off of FinTwits. Who else held their puts? Fuck the bulls. SPY will go down tomorrow. We finally found it after years. People just talking about all of this crazy stuff. These funny, again, I always love the memes. You guys know that. But they're just literally promising the market's going to crash tomorrow. What do we say about the public? The public is the goal of market makers to rob blindly. Not blindly. They rob them by giving them the noose. And when I say noose, the news. And then how to trade it. And they always lose. If you've not seen that feature, that's why it's almost like less is more. Like I was saying after hours, I stopped out of some stuff and seeing what's going on FinTwit. I almost want to buy everything back and buy futures and go long into the job or the CPI. We won't do that because of discipline, but it just makes me feel like if any gap down, you absolutely take it. And if you watch, we'll watch the action in the morning. We'll be around. Keep in mind, again, TLT, it's going higher, yields going lower, oil's coming down, inputs. Again, commodities have corrected. Do we all agree? I'm not saying we're going into a new bull market. What I'm saying is you should expect a bounce, and you'll see it in the markets. Here's another factor. What have I said a bazillion times? The dollar's in a bull trend. What do you guys notice? I said we'd get there. I mean, people were like, "You're crazy, man. You're gonna know what." We got there. Let me duplicate this. I said I thought we'd get up into this area, and then we're there. Now the risk reward is what? The dollar probably isn't going to scream higher. I mean, think about the news today. The parity in the dollar with the euro. Parity in the dollar. Parity. I mean, I saw it a billion times. Now people should be bullish the dollar? I mean, this is pretty impressive stuff. I mean, the dollar has gone parabolic. Now, again, I think it can still go higher later. I just think it's due for what? A siesta, a break, a recreo, whatever you want to call it. We'll see. I'm not saying going out and short the dollar, but if the dollar does drop, it will be beneficial to the market. I think near term for tech. What now? The VIX. We said we're getting down into this down and dirty low end of the range at some point. But look at the VIX. I mean, it's just chopping. I mean, compression. Wiping out calls and puts. That's all you really need to see. Now, if we think the VIX is going lower, well, let's talk about the SPY. And let's get into it today and how Dan made mistakes and how, if you want to learn from them, you can. Let's look at the 10-minute. All right. We had some pretty obvious ranges, right? We're watching this stuff, right? Well, here was the trouble with me putting my stops in. Watching the volume, I did not have confidence that the market was going to melt down. It didn't happen till way later that I got stopped out. Now, again, we started buying along this channel or this range low. It's the VAP zone. Everyone's going, well, you should have known the gamma and the options pinning and that they're going to wipe out. Again, at this point right here, you don't know if that's happening. At this, I guess you could try to argue that it was going to happen shortly, but you didn't know if it happened at, almost 4 o'clock or happened at 2 o'clock. It just is what it is. The risk reward. Again, with me seeing bond yields going lower, oil getting absolute. Keep in mind, oil is at the low of the day right here, which was confusing. Again, stopped out late, tried to get back in, stopped out immediately, 20 cents. Said, you know what, 0 for 3, you're done. Now at the lows, keep in mind, let's check it out. I think Wild Warrior, again, I'll give people credit if they say things that I'm not sure about, but end up being right. I think called 20 day. I mean, I think multiple people said it. Maybe Lupus, even NH, everybody's like, you know what? At this point, you're probably going to the 20 day. Hey, guess what? You got there. Little wick. Now what? This is what you pray for tomorrow. You pray for the market to gap down. You pray for it to give retail the noose to hang itself because they will short and are shorting heavily, right? A gap down would be an awesome trap. Because what you would want is maybe something like this and then, or I'm trying to think of like the last time. Let's look if there was another gap down. Not really. I mean, no, there really wasn't any. Maybe this would be the best. This would be the absolute best. This 224, this kind of gap down and just rip face. That would be ideal. Now, what are we going to get? We have to play the probabilities. I would say the odds of flat open, a third, a gap up a third, a gap down a third. However, I do think the reaction after the initial pop should lead higher. And if we gap and go, that doesn't surprise me one bit either. Keep in mind, think about the sentiment. Everybody's bearish. All of the, I hate to say dumbest money, because sometimes people in this video or watching it might be the dumb money. They don't realize it. I've been the dumb money too. We all have. Are the ones shorting. It is a bear market. But where were you in November when we called this? When do we say, watch and say, like, you got to watch these channel highs, and then when it said it broke the 20-month, no. Now you're bearish. After the market's gone from 484 down to 65-ish, 363. You don't realize that even in bear markets, look at this. You get rallies. You get like some rallies. You get rallies. You get rallies. You get rallies. That's part of it, folks. You get rallies. All right. Are we comfortable with that? If not, stop by Discord room, leave a comment, because I think people are misinterpreting the potential action here. QQQ, deflation's favorite sector, tech. Notice it's over the 20-day. It's holding this range. We talked about this. We said, look, folks, it is oversold. It's probably due to bounce. Here you go. Here's your green monthly candle. Again, could it be like this choppiness for a little bit? Again, bear markets. Here you go. This is crazy action. Look at this. In 2000, down. March. Back all the way up into what? September. That was a 50% correction in 2 months, and then it took 5 months to rally back to a lower high. We have not dropped 50%, obviously. We have dropped, what was it? Let me do the math. 408 to what? 290? 28, 29%. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's oversold. Now, could it go lower? This is where the probabilities. Like we talked about the divergences and new lows, new highs. You've seen the action proceeds. You talk about rubber band man gets tired. Big move down. Big chop, 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 boom. Chop, 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 boom. I don't know if tomorrow, like again, pray tomorrow looks like this, a gap down and reverse. Because even that day, if you could somehow catch that 317, even 2 days, 344, that's going to be your month. That might be your quarter. Now, do we get that kind of gap down tomorrow? Probably not with all this pessimism, but you never know. The market makers will feed people as much rope as they need to hang themselves. Keep that in mind. Again, these talks are meant to make you understand and see how on a bigger level, the market is always trying to take your money, my money, and everyone else's money. Big money. It doesn't matter. It's a casino. All bets are equally wanted to be taken. Some more than others, obviously, can be manipulated, but they want everyone to lose. The IWM, again, what do we say? It's just chopping, holding. Here we go. Hold the 170s. We've said that a bazillion times. I think I said it yesterday as well. We'll see. Oh my God. Maybe gold capitulates tomorrow. Like, put that on your radar. I'm actually going to put that on the radar. I will not absolutely trade it. I will absolutely let it roll. But if the dollar peaks and the market slams out, I mean, look at this. This is oversold. Oversold. Look, it's compressing. I've said this many times. The best time to buy it is when the bear market peaks. We're not at the bear market peak. I mean, you could get this crazy choppy action. I don't want to buy this. Again, my gold friends, like that's all they can trade. Like they just can't look at anything else. It's like Bitcoin folks. Like, all I can trade is Bitcoin. It's like, no, there's always other opportunities out there. Don't marry anything. It's like, this is a market where you should be free and liberated. Don't marry anyone or anything. Anyway, it's kind of a joke, but let's see if that'll fit there. No, at this point, I think it's due to bounce. I mean, why? We're at our zone here, the 0.382. We're at the start of the support zone. Okay. Don't get mad at me when I'm like, oh, I don't want to buy it and it pops. I just don't really have that much of a desire. I just don't. Silver, we've said this. You're in the buy zone. You're into it in the 100-month. But the best time to buy this is the slam pop in a market that's gone wild. Boom, pop. Now, it doesn't mean that silver can't do like this choppy crap before one more waka, whatever you want to call it. I'm at the point again. I've said this 100 times. I don't trust it. It is oversold, just like it bounced here. Went slightly below it and bounced. Maybe it's the job is to get slightly below 17, then bounce. Repeating patterns, folks. Here you go, silver and gold friends that are just got 20,000 followers on Twitter. Follow me, and I'll actually tell you when to buy. No, I'm just kidding. Like, again, you guys recommend this stuff every day, and it's like it goes lower and it goes lower and it goes lower and it goes lower, and guess what? You continue to recommend it. Now I'm saying you might have a buy opportunity. I have no desire to play it. Again, if somehow peace breaks out, silver goes nowhere. Maybe it pops. Well, maybe gold goes lower than silver. GDX. Here we are at support. Told you, you're gonna get down and dirty. Best time to buy it is before the slam. 2008 slam pop. We're not in the slam pop zone. However, if anyone tells you it's not due to pop, then they don't know. Again, I don't even need RSI, MACD, all this crap. I can see the action tiring out. Look at this. Hammer, 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 hammer. Man, you almost got like every style of hammer color. And now what? You're retesting the lows? I give my blessing to you to buy GDX with a 50-cent stop, anticipating it could possibly go, 10% higher. You're welcome. I don't know. I think 10% is great. If that's what you want to go for. I think there's other names. I think, again, the SMH, some of these tech names, they are going to rally stronger than the miners. How do I know that? I don't know that for sure, but if history is any repeat, repeating pattern, then it's probably people are not going to get excited about gold in deflationary times. They might though, because it's a counter trend rally. It might just confuse the most amount of people the most amount of times, and you can bet on that. Again, GDXJ said, "Oh, you gotta let it go." Pow, pow. I don't know where we're at. Meaning, I don't recommend it. AG, here we go. Here we go, folks. Look at this tight action at the lows. Nice little doji. Keep in mind, you want to play it. It might go from 7 to 9. Here it might go from 6 to 8, 9. I don't know. That's a great percentage. That's how you want to trade. Go ahead. I'm not going to argue that. I don't want to be there. AEM, I've said this a bazillion times. I like it. Their KL take over. I don't see it bottoming until the 30s, but that doesn't mean along the way it can't pop up to 48 or something. Maybe even 50. Like, this is taking the steps down, right? We're taking the steps down, and then you just flatline. I don't know if we're gonna flatline or be bottom, but whatever. I just don't care. People are like, you can't do that. You gotta carry. No, I don't. I've been in the gold, what I would call purgatory before, and it's just one of the worst places to ever be in. If you're experienced gold purgatory, leave a comment below. And I'd love to hear your experience, because I think we can relate on it, where you think gold, everybody thinks gold going higher. Everything makes sense for gold and silver to go higher, and it doesn't. And then you waste opportunities. I mean, we've all been there. I mean, I'll talk about it right now. I think even in, what was it? Oh, yeah. Last year, we talked about December 15th. Look at this crap, man. It came right back. Oh, oops, wrong. What am I doing? This is NFGC. Wrong stock. Burn. No, silver. We played the trade. We played through AG as well. Like, we got in December, and it just went, and came back, and came back, and came back. And it was like, man, the markets could have traded way more volatile stuff. And then it ran up, which is great. And then it made this lower high, and then, I mean, if you honestly think you're going to get rich trading silver when these ranges are so small, let's be honest, you're not. The volatility is part of making money. You need things that are going to move big. If I don't think silver is going to move big, why would I own it? Now, again, buy physical at these levels. Trust me, that's, you can get physical, great. If you can't, pass. Literally pass. The next Pan American Silver, they make coins. Train, I don't know, range lows. I mean, it's tiring me out having the same conversation about gold and silver, because I literally get a DM a day, or somebody on StockTwits going, "You're an idiot, you got to buy gold here." And it's like, man, you folks who promote it constantly are sadly the ones who've been scammed. You don't realize it. Now, again, it's a scam running a scam. The irony of futures contracts being a complete scam, but getting scammed to push a scam, that's, as the scam isn't real, is way too scammy for me, right? Like, okay, we know there's a scam, but you're pushing the scam will end, and the scam doesn't end, and then the scam scams you to be stuck. I mean, it's a freaking tongue twister. X, like it down here, but again, laying off materials, they don't seem to have pricing power near term. Maybe these names rally some, but as we said, if China starts dumping cheap commodities because Uncle Joe opens up the tariffs, takes them off, we'll see. Nucor got stopped out of this, and then it popped right back. Got me good. Got me good, fucker. Right here. And it, again, 20-day, watch it. All these names. I mean, I think long-term, there will be an opportunity to buy these names and ride them like a horse to greener pastures. At this point, I think they're sunk dead. Sunk dead. Now again, where back test this channel, I don't even want to, I don't even know. I don't even want to recommend it. CCJ, same thing. Like, I love uranium. It's clearly the future. You guys are getting scammed. You don't realize it. Guys and gals, sorry. Left shoulder, right shoulder, head. We traded this thing. Now people are going to be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. We traded this thing. We bought it. I think it was like, what? It was this trend here at 18. We wrote it up to 30, which was the 50% fib. And again, here are the technicals. Support resistance. You see it right here. Look at all these wicks. Here we go. This was where we bought it. And again, some people held it longer. I got out. I was like, I'm good. I'm good at 28 and 29. Some people held it a little longer. And like, Doji. I don't trust it. I trust it long term, but do you want to hold it, or do you want to take advantage of the market volatility? That's the ultimate question, because I think we all know, as we said before, there will be a time to buy this stuff. Trust me, we will be there. But do you want to buy it now? Here we go. Here's the copper name, Arrow. Love these names. Got a little volume down here. It looks like it should bounce, but maybe it just does this for a while. I personally struggle with commodities at this point because, again, I believe in them long term. Trust me, nobody doubt that for a second. I just know how the 2000s, coming out of a tech bull market, commodities got extremely volatile before they went bonkers. I think we're in that same phase where you're going to have volatility in the markets that translates into commodities. And again, not that commodities won't lead in the next up cycle. They're just going to be volatile. Okay? I'm going to lower my voice and talk like a normal person. Like, that's the truth. Study the past. Like, here, if you want, let's look at 2000. Again, I will go back in time. These videos, sorry if they're long, but whatever. You don't realize what you don't know. Here's letter X. Here was 2000 to 2003. I mean, these are big moves, keep in mind, percentage-wise. Then we capitulated. And then when the bull market ended, or the bear market ended, look what happened. Look at this. Don't ever forget this. This happened to all the commodity companies. Your CCJ, your whatever, GDX, your whatever, it's going to go bonkers. It just might take some time. So it's either time correction or capitulation. If it's a time correction, we'll be late. That's fine. But if it's a capitulation, we will be there. And if it is a time capitulation, trust me, you don't want to be in purgatory, because then look what happens. Whee! I mean, how do you like buying stocks at 10 and trading them up to almost 200? Oh my God, it sounds like the tech bubble. Patterns repeat. I say this every day. There's nothing new in the market. It's just, it's momentum. It's how it trades, it's how it moves. Mosaic, here, you want to see another one that we used to trade a ton in the 2000s. Look at that. Look at the final move. Ah, beautiful. But look at 2003. I mean, you went from 4 up to, I mean, again, it just got choppy. That was awesome. I still remember. Where's Pot? Is Pot still around? Is that still a ticker? I apologize to divert. Please tell me it is. Nope, it got bought out. I can't remember who bought it. Anyway, so back to Mosaic. What do you see here, Dan? I see this chop range becoming bigger, more volatile. Now, how low does this go? This is tough because we all agree, right? Agriculture stuff is undervalued if inflation is coming, which inflation's here to stay. It's just a matter of the rate of change for which it goes. I mean, and again, the market needs to bottom for people to buy inflation names comfortably. Like, that's why gold acts like crap. Anyway, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it has to be said 100 times. Even I have to remind myself. Here we go. Range lows, probably bounces. If it doesn't, you just stop out. CF, where we be? Said it's looking better. Look at the volume here. You got a nice little... Now this one, sneaky. Look at this. You have this candle, and then you have this this follow through. Like, somebody knows something. You don't buy all that stock and stop this volume, because again, you had this like little takedown, and something's going on. I probably should research it. I'm too focused on other things, but if you're watching CF, something's going on. Maybe they're about to get bought out. Let's get into tech, because this is the such obvious long trade, up trade. Everyone's like, why would you buy AMD? It's like, well, folks, we shorted it and we told you it's going to come down to here. If you're not shorting, do you have to go long? No, but you should be aware that it's going to bounce. It's just that simple. Where's the bounce? It's probably going to be at least 20-30%. That's my guess. Keep in mind, we're coming out of a tech bull market. Does not mean that tech is dead yet. It has not hit the floor. This is not the floor for tech. Please do not get it twisted. This is not the floor. The floor for AMD could be much, much lower. That's how tech bull markets die. That's how the commodity bull markets die. Remember, look at X. It went into purgatory. Let's just call it what it is, folks. Probably a bounce, I would guess, at least mid-90s, which is a great return. SMH, remember, we're thinking about the CHIPS Act. Same thing with AMD. It's in the House. The Republicans and Democrats are pretending to like argue about spending money. They're so good at it. Like, it's not a win. It's just if. Not a if, but a win. My apologies. And here we go. We're holding tight the 8-day between the 20-day, compressing. You'll go, oh man, you are crazy. And it's like, well, remember this ETF, it's funny, this thing IPO'd in 2000. Boom. And here's tech. Again, keep in mind, tech dead during the commodities bull market. Rip, 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 rip. Pulls back hard, bounces. Right? Like it makes sense. Even in this down market, which is slower, you had bounces. I mean, it goes from what, 317 down to what, 192, 188. The big move, probably going to bounce. How strong? I mean, if the stuff isn't obvious when you look at this chart that there's bounces along the way, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, nothing is just like down. That's what I'm anticipating. Apple. Here's another thing why the market was a little tricky, because SMH was holding up. Apple was up $1, chilling. We shall see. Because again, a market with Apple leading up isn't bearish. Now, it's been up a couple days. Could it chop? We'll see. I mean, that's why we're getting to OPEX. It's ChopX for a reason. People are like, oh, I'm buying Apple for the long run. I'm like, you must be high as a kite. This action will not sustain. It will pull back dramatically at some point, but doesn't mean it can't bounce. I mean, you're up to the 20-month. A lot of wicks up here. I mean, I don't know, 150s. That's my upside. Maybe 160. We don't know. Earnings is coming. Everybody's bearish going into earnings. Usually know how that ends. Bullishly. Meta. Update on the app. Tons of downgrades. Everyone hates them. High and tight. I mean, I know 10-point range might not be considered high and tight, but gap down on what? That downgrade, and you held today, even though the market was down what? 1%? Something like that, right? SPY down 0.88%. They held up pretty. It didn't make a new low like the market. Hope you're seeing this with tech. Tech is not crashing down. It is not leading down. Here, look at Apple again. Oh boy, holding up pretty good. Look at AMD again. Filling the gap, I guess AMD. Sorry, AMD, not the best example. SMH, holding up pretty darn good. I know it's under the 20-day, but holding up. Again, not making new lows. That's. Look at the volumes too. Daddy likes. Since we did Apple, Meta. Yeah, oh, back to Meta. Now what? Hold the 20-day, probably going to roll up the channel highs, even the 50-day. I mean, it's that easy of a trade. All right. Let's roll through these roadblocks. Traded this one a bunch today, just like Meta, kind of stopped out on some stuff, got aggressive. Now again, I will say this always. I'd rather lose small and get back in than to get beaten over the head. I like this stuff. Look at its tight action. I know this is a little bit of a blow off, but I think we are going higher. I have the channel drawn on my other computer. And you can see there's something good. There's something brewing here. Symmetrical up channel. Hold the low end of range. You good to go. Tesla. I mean, I've told people I just stay away from these names that have way too much headline risk. And Twitter, someone asked me about Twitter, but what have I also said about Tesla? I'm like, please don't short it. It's not ready. Now, if people got up here and it's got a 768, now they're like, oh, it made like 100 points, you idiot. I don't know. It just looks choppy and sloppy. I'd rather short a dramatic pop than a retest of these highs. I guess that's a logical trade. I feel like you're going against the market. That's all. EXPI, here you go. Fundamentals don't matter. Your fundamental analysis is your fundamental crutch that you think is going to help you get better and stronger. It's not. Fundamentals, just make sure the fundamentals aren't fake. That's what I always tell you. Like, make sure they actually make money and they have a legit company and CEO. After that, everything else is just whatever. Holding up, high and tight. Here's your little. We announced 83,000 agents, I think yesterday. Still growing. Other brokerages, not so much. Does it matter? We talked about you could buy it down here. Awesome sauce. You're up a few points. Nothing much to say. UTHR, what did we say about this one? I mean, we have nailed this one, and we talked about it. W bottom, and then a retest, and then blow out with volume. You come up, you pop back to support, you make a slightly higher high. Think about the rubber band man theory. Here's your big first umph. Here's your second one. Here's your third. Just beware. Like, here's the upper monthly trend line. I'm not going to switch to it. Just trust the 248 to 250 range should be a place that you take dramatic amounts of profit if you're holding this. And you're fully long, shame on you, because if it fails, then you're going to be real pissed. Oil, hello, my lady, hello, my darling. Yeah, look at this action. We talked about all these dojis and indecisions. people are like, oh, you didn't short it, you idiot. Oh, okay. Yes, I agree. I am an idiot. I should have shorted it. Other people did, and I'm glad they did. You had these references here at 78. A few of the traders said, hey, they're shorting it. Cool beans. I'm glad it dropped. Again, it helps the tech trade, helps the deflation trade. This does not look bullish. Remember, lower lows and lower highs. Do we make a lower low? Keep an eye on it. XOP talked about getting down in here into the 1 teens and the 123. And again, is the oil... there's not much juice left on this orange. Keep in mind, if this is like a short, it's getting tired. That's all I would say. Keep in mind, the oil and gas names don't have to tank with oil dropping. I mean, if they're still making money at $75 or $80 a barrel, yes, it just means to me, like, I think they'll hold up if the market holds up. Keep in mind, they are in the ETFs, they are in the SPY, they are in the IWM, they're in all of these market funds. And so if the market is going up and they're buying these funds, then these things can hold up. It just is what it is. It just is what it is, folks. Same thing with ExxonMobil. I think, I can't remember who shorted up here, whatever. Congrats. Like, that was great. I hope you're watching this action and just you're being thoughtful that it doesn't have to always go lower. Let's end it here on like natural gas and a few of these names. Like natural gas. I mean, how did people like, how did you short markets? And it's like, well, once you saw this break, gap down, you knew it was coming lower. Here we go. Pop back. Just some resistance here in the 23s. Again, it's not the natural gas futures, but this fund is a piece of crap. You can short it. Buying it, harsh. Valero, again, chopping. Let's just run through it real quick. All of them chopping. Going, like they look like they could be reloading to drop. I don't know. We'll see. Soxel, remember, we're buying this. Like, we're trying to get this anywhere under 13. I think it has a run up to maybe 18 to 20. That's not a bad return. We'll see. Anyway, hopefully you're doing well. Again, I always love to... I'm going to start ending with this, my real estate rant. Again, if you have any questions about real estate investing or you're looking to buy or sell a house anywhere in this country and you want my help, you actually can. Surprise, surprise. I can become a referral agent and also be involved. If you are a personal friend who is involved in the channel and wants my help, I would love to overlook the other agent in the process and help you out with your investment properties, how to run it, how to get property management, how to manage it yourself, how to find a tenant, all of these things that would make it well worth it to have me involved in. Because again, you will not pay me out of pocket. It will always come out of the seller's commission. And the seller's commission pays the buyer's agent commission. Well, if I find them a client, you as a referral, they'll pay me a small amount. To me, it's well worth it because, again, I always tell this and I will say this every time. Your goal in trading is to make paper profits, roll them into real assets. You pick your asset. I like housing. I like gold. I like silver. I wish I could buy uranium. I like investing in real assets. The better ones have actually passive income. Now, again, certain life insurance, whatever you want to do. Like, there's a lot of plays out there. And again, if we are going into a bear market, you should be hoarding cash knowing that there's things to buy. I'll end it on that. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all your, support. Every once in a while there's a bad apple, but whatever. I just don't care. I'm here for you guys. I'm here to better myself and the people around me. So we got to focus on what we do and what we do well. Peace.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.